Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm going to walk you through our reading lesson for today. Feel free to pause this video as you go so that you can get everything that you need. And if you need a moment to kind of catch up, just pause and then play throughout the video. So we are going to be reading on page 20 of our magazine today. It's a passage called An Adventure to Remember. So go ahead and get your magazine out and open up to page 20. And you will need a highlighter today as well. So you'll want to round that up. Again, feel free to pause if you need to. So notice right away that this is historical fiction. So there are some pieces to this that are real and factual, but there are also some elements that are completely made up. So as we read, we're going to want to pick apart what parts are true and what parts are fictional. Okay, so just like if we were in class, I am going to pull up the video. So like we typically do with these one-page passages, we're going to read it one time through just for basic understanding. And then you're going to go back through on your own here in a little bit, and you're going to be looking for some specific words and some patterns within those words. So the first time, we're just reading for understanding. Okay, page 20, An Adventure to Remember. Highlighters ready.
Word study read. Remember to annotate as you read.
An Adventure to Remember. Last summer, I visited my uncle who lives in New York City. Uncle Harry has always been very literary, so when he left Ohio and moved to New York, it wasn't unexpected. Now he works as an editor for a major publishing company. I respect him a lot. He took me to the main observation deck of the Empire State Building, the world's tallest skyscraper. I'd been looking forward to seeing this incredible structure since its completion 4 years ago. We rode the elevator up to the 86th floor. That would have been 1,576 steps. Amazingly, it took less than a minute. But Uncle Harry used the time to entertain me with interesting information about the building's construction. He said about 3,400 men worked on the building, and it was finished in just 1 year and 45 days. The very last rivet was made of gold.
All right, so as I was reading through and listening to these first two paragraphs, again, I'm just trying to get a basic understanding, but I'm also trying to pick apart what things are real and factual. And in paragraph 2, I started to really get a sense of the factual, the historical pieces here. So talking about the Empire State Building, at the time, it was the world's tallest skyscraper when it was built. So in this fictional story, the building had been completed 4 years prior. So it was 86 or is 86 stories high. It was 3,400 men worked to build the building. It was completed in just over a year, which really is pretty amazing for a building that large. And how cool that the last rivet was made of gold. So those pieces are factual and real. Okay, let's continue on to the second half. Again, if you need to pause at any time to catch up, feel free to do so.
Soon we were on the main deck, 1,050 feet above the city streets, peering through high-powered telescopes at spectacular views. Uncle Harry was instructing me about specific landmarks, and we were so engrossed that we didn't notice it was getting dark and we were alone. When we went to the elevator and pressed the down button, nothing happened. The elevator wasn't running because the deck was closed. I panicked, but my uncle remained calm, reassuring me that someone would eventually find us. However, he suspected we might have to spend the night. It will be an extraordinary adventure, he said. We watched the lights come on all over the city, and then I even managed to doze. At dawn, when the cleaning crew got off the elevator, were they surprised to see us? I'll always remember that adventure in the summer of 1935.
All right, so kind of cute. Part of me thinks like, oh, that would be kind of fun. It's kind of like Night at the Museum. Like, wouldn't it be kind of cool to be stuck in a skyscraper and get to see the city at night? It would also be a little scary, I'm sure. Um, okay, so a couple things. At the very end here is where we get the date. So she says, this girl talks about she'll never forget the summer of 1935. And we also learned that the building had been completed 4 years prior to that. So it seems like simple math. It must have been built in 1931 or completed in 1931, probably since construction just took over a year. Maybe they started building it in 1930 and then it was completed in 1931. So obviously we get some factual pieces here, but then we also get this fictional piece of them accidentally getting locked on the top floor of the Empire State Building. Kind of cute. Okay, so once you are all done with your annotations, you're going to go back through this passage and you're going to focus in on 4 types of root words or Latin roots. So roots, they're similar to prefixes and suffixes. Prefix comes before a word. A suffix comes at the end of a word. A root is often found in the middle of a word. However, if the word doesn't have a prefix, sometimes it can actually be at the beginning of a word. Same, if the word doesn't have a suffix, you can find these roots at the end of a word. So just don't get yourself in the habit of only looking at the beginning of a word or only looking at the end or only looking in the middle. They can kind of be found in different parts of the word. Little harder to find compared to like a prefix or a suffix. So just like a prefix or a suffix, when you see this group of letters together, it has its own meaning. So you're going to go back through, hint, hint, wink, wink. Don't forget to look at the title because the title is part of the story and may have some Latin roots that you are looking for. So posted today, the question is where you are going to, I got to do this differently. The question is where you're going to type in and tell me all of the words that you found. So there are 4 Latin roots. They're listed here: spec, leader, vent, and struct. So you're looking for those spellings in the middle of or beginning or end of a word. Okay. So sorry, let me get back here. So for example, I kind of gave you a hint about the title, right? And adventure, do you see how vent is right here in the middle of the word? That would be a word that you could type into the question on our Google Classroom today as one of the words that you found. It has that vent root to it. Okay, so it's up to you. You could go through, maybe you want to just read through one time and just look for the words that have the vent root. And then you can read back through again, look for the words that have the spec root and so on, if that's easier for you. You should find at least one example for each of those Latin roots. Some have more than one. Okay, so good luck with that. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. If you have extra time today, if you're able to complete all of your work that I have posted, it would be kind of cool to do some research on the Empire State Building to learn a little bit more about that building. All right, guys, good luck. Thanks for your time, and I will see you later.